I wanted to talk a little bit about what I call the game of intelligence. Many people think that I am intelligent, even though I haven't really solved any problems. I am not a great success, and as far as I can tell, my capacity for information processing is fairly average. They are, of course, the dictionary definitions of intelligence, either problem-solving skills or information processing capacity. And, of course, some people have higher levels of those things than others, and we could meaningfully say that they are more intelligent than others. I'm not arguing that everyone is equally intelligent. What I am arguing is that that word intelligence is often used illicitly, often forms a part of a system of social control, and is largely meaningless in its conventional use, and largely caught up with the kind of nasty, class-based social status games that seem to dominate modern British society and presumably most other societies too. Think about it. When you're young, you get praised by your parents for saying certain things that they like to hear, and you get chastised for saying things that they don't like to hear, and often that will be formed around the language of intelligence. What a clever thing to say. That was a stupid thing to say. These often have nothing to do with the truth or falsehood of the statements. They are merely about dissuading a person from repeating certain things and encouraging them to think along certain lines. Usually those lines, of course, are determined by the opinions of the parent who is doing the praising and chastising. We see this similar pattern of using intelligence and stupidity as praise and shame words, even in adult conversations. You may, for example, probably have seen people discussing politics or discussing it online, and someone disagrees with the other person, and they are called stupid or an idiot or unintelligent for holding a different or opposing view. This, ironically, is basically quite stupid. If you think about it, in the 1950s, we had chess grandmasters from the USSR facing off against chess grandmasters from America. Presumably, some of them had capitalist belief systems, whilst the others had communist belief systems. Presumably, both of these chess players were vaguely intelligent individuals. Although, incidentally, chess is just another example of how arbitrary and silly our construct around intelligence really is. As I understand it, the research into chess ability has indicated that it's not actually that much to do with IQ, it's more to do with, unsurprisingly, how much a person has practiced playing chess. So, it goes to show, you could get really good at playing chess, and you're kind of playing a game of intelligence here. You're actually just practicing a skill that has, to some extent arbitrarily, been associated with intelligence, just as I have been practicing the skill of speaking clearly and precisely and using language highly proficiently. And so people rapidly conclude, I think quite falsely, that I am intelligent. Intelligence also, when we think about the codes and conventions of behaviour that are associated with intelligence, is largely constructed along class lines. So this accent that I have been lucky enough to have imbued in me is associated with intelligence. I could have said exactly the same thing in this video with a thick regional accent associated with the working classes, perhaps using a less sophisticated or wide-ranging or precise vocabulary, and you might view me as being less intelligent than I actually am. So it's all a bit silly, really, isn't it? It's not really particularly meaningful. It's somehow a part of a social control system as well. All in all, I suppose all I'm trying to say is that intelligence isn't what you think it is for the most part, or what most people think that it is. And I would also caution you against dedicating your life to being intelligent or seeming intelligent, because often that is actually just a reflection of your failure to see through the process of validation seeking that you engaged in relation to your parents. I, for example, went to a Zen Buddhist monastery once, and this is where I realized it, because I found myself trying to say clever things or wise things to the monks at the monastery, and they were deeply unimpressed because they could see through my games, my game of validation, my game of trying to be superior to others, to be better than other people. And this, I suppose, is one of the fundamental delusions underpinning this "I am very smart" attitude that we encounter so often in real life and on the internet, the delusion that a so-called intelligent person is inherently, objectively more valuable than a less intelligent person. Because, of course, if you're that intelligent, you would realize that there are no objective values. And if that is true, that means that in an objective sense, the so-called intelligent person is equal in value to the so-called unintelligent person. So, quit your bullshit and stop trying to be intelligent, I would say. Stop trying to play the game of intelligence, perhaps, and you may find some freedom or relief when you do so.